I have a question for the rest of America. Does anyone even care about Nebraska? Does anyone even care?
The state of Nebraska going bankrupt. Nebraska farmers going bankrupt because of Trump's tariffs. They all love to vote for Trump out in Nebraska. Not all, but big majority of them. And look at now. Look what's happening to Nebraska. Going broke because of Trump. Never learn. Some people never learn. The one thing they never learn is that it is immigrants that make America great, not Trump. He makes America shit. Immigrants.
Really quick, as a Nebraskan, I have to chime in with, does anybody care about Nebraska? Not anymore. I did when I went to the polling place and cast my vote for Harrison Walls. I don't anymore, because y'all voted for who you voted for. So no, I don't care even a little bit. Sucks to suck.
Than anyone else on this earth, because we deal with your earth every day. Dear Lord, we're hurting you, Lord. We can help what's happened to us.
Really?
Huge breaking news right now. The Republican governor of Nebraska has announced that Republicans in Nebraska have dropped their attempt to change the election rules in the state, making it a winner-take-all state this November.
Tens of thousands of Nebraskan farmers are going to be bankrupt within the next 2 fiscal quarters because of this. They wanted Trump to be president so badly they passed a rule that says it's an all-or-nothing vote, no splits, and they got him in. And now the deportations are coming, and he's about to steal a very large percentage of their already very dwindling workforce. Most of Nebraska's farming and harvesting and production was handled by undocumented workers, and Trump is going to be very strict bringing that handle down on his new deportation laws, and there is not going to be anybody to be working those farms. Crops are going to be dying in the fields, while Nebraskan farmers go absolutely bankrupt from the decision they made. And if they think their workers are going to stay, they're not. They're not going to take the chances, not with their family, not with their children, not with their jobs. They're going to go and hide or just outright leave and go somewhere else. And Nebraska is going to go bankrupt within months.
What do you have to say to U.S. farmers who feel that the deal is benefiting Argentina more than it is them, as they are a top
Argentina's fighting for its life, young lady. You don't know anything about it. They're fighting for their life. Nothing's benefiting Argentina. They're fighting for their life. You understand what that means? They have no money. They have no anything. They're fighting so hard to survive. If I can help them survive in a free world, I happen to like the president of Argentina. I think he's trying to do the best he can. But don't make it sound like they're doing great. They are dying. All right? They're dying.
Remember last year, Trump bailed out the Argentina farmers instead of his own. Now, remember last year, Trump promised a $20 billion bailout for farmers, but it has never reached. These farmers are losing everything. They are running bankrupt. They are crying. They are regretting their vote for Trump. Let us listen to what these farmers are saying.
He is not helping the farmer. I mean, we farm about 3,500 acres. We are going to be so far in the red.
We've got a real disaster with this tariff deal. I mean, for the first time in 20 years, China's bought 0 soybeans and 0 new crop corn out of this country, from 12 billion to 0.
I farm 800 acres by myself. I can't afford any help. I farm with paid for equipment. All my tractors are 50 years old. And I can't hardly make this deal work.
Now, I've never been as worried as I am now about whether or not my kids and grandkids will be able to carry on.
5 of my customers have committed suicide. That's how serious that this is.
When are you going to stand up for us instead of kissing his ass for these trade deals?
Best case scenario for this year.
That we never have to talk about tariffs again.
I'm so excited for everyone to call me a bad person again in my comments, but guess what? I do not care about Nebraska going bankrupt in 6 months. I do not care. I do not care. Maybe a few other of those red states should go bankrupt in 6 months so the blue states can swoop in to save them, so they can understand that we are not the bad ones. We are not the poor ones. We are not the ones who cannot survive under the orange turds' crazy policies. But you know why I don't feel bad for Nebraska? You know why? Because I believe I heard 65% of their workforce is undocumented people, which means they're not coming to work anymore, which means work's not happening, which means all the farmers in Nebraska are going to go bankrupt because they all went out there and voted against their neighbors. 65% of neighbors who are immigrants, okay? Fuck around and find out at this point. You know what I mean? And of course, I do feel bad for those blue people in Nebraska who did not vote for this. So unfortunate. That's what you get for being racist and not wanting immigrants in this country, even though they're paying taxes and contributing. So,
did you guys vote for Trump by a show of hands? Who here voted for Trump?
All day.
Are you guys all conservative?
Definitely.
Okay, so what is Trump conserving for you guys? So he swears on the Bible as a political stunt, never attends church. Who's his pastor, by the way? What church does he actually attend? Does anybody know? On his third wife, I think, and has children with all previous ex-wives. But mentioning women, he cheated on his pregnant wife with a actress and then paid her hush money in a 2016 election, which resulted in felonies against him. But he doesn't stop there. He actually, speaking of mistresses, he has 8 known mistresses, and that's not including the teenagers on Epstein Island. And he's weaponized the DOJ and violated states' rights over and over and over again. So I'm not actually sure what he's conserving at this point. I don't even know what Trump is conservative about.
Hey, it's Joe from Georgia. While nobody's been paying attention, this is what's going on in Nebraska. And we talked about bankruptcies in Nebraska. Well, the Hansen-Mueller Corporation, which is a grain company there, it's what it does. It's a huge giant there in Nebraska, the Hansen-Mueller Company. They filed for bankruptcy back on November the 17th with Chapter 11. Well, what this did, and the reason they ended up where they did, is because starting in August, they weren't paying people money. The farmers who had used their grain to fund this company didn't get paid for it. This went on for a couple of months. The Hansen-Mueller Company their license was suspended, and then it was reinstated there by the Public Service Commission in Nebraska the first week of November, and then they filed for bankruptcy. Well, $500 million is what's at stake, and you've got about 5,000 creditors, and most of them are farmers, small farmers, or a lot of them, and they haven't been getting paid. So, and why did this happen? Tariffs. Because of the tariffs, and they're not able to move the grain at a price where it's profitable, and the way the company had set their operation up, they lost a ton of money and was unable to pay the producers of the grain in Nebraska. So once again, tariffs, bankruptcy, and farmers are going hand in hand, and Nebraska is paying the price.
How's it going, everyone? Moderate Republican with news out of Nebraska. If you haven't seen it on TikTok, there's a few creators out there are saying that Nebraska is real close to filing bankruptcy. But the fact is, this Republican is going to shoot it to you straight. Nebraska is not in any danger whatsoever of going bankrupt. It looks like some creators on the left wants to try to spin a narrative that is falsely inaccurate. And yes, here's the breakdown. What they're referring to is the forecasted budget for FY 26-27. That is going into next year, into 2027. And that is a $400 million shortfall. Now, under the Nebraska Constitution, they are required by the Constitution to have a balanced budget. But they do have some safety nets in play that these creators didn't tell you about. That is called the 3% minimum reserve requirement, the rainy day fund, and the cash reserve funds to ensure that if any surprises come about, they have the money on hand to cover it. But don't worry about Nebraska. Nebraska is good to go. But comment down below. Tell me what you think. Did you watch one of these fake news medias about Nebraska? Let me know. Share it out. And don't let the dementia set in. Hit that follow, subscribe button. That'll let you know when I drop my next video. See you soon.
Do you guys remember this lady?
I will go for Donald Trump.
Well, I'm trying not to laugh. This is her now.
It's been happening frequently at the 333 Miami Avenue Federal Court building. Janet Correa's husband was detained this week. According to her immigration lawyer, he has already been placed on expedite removal.
They voted for Donald Trump. Donald Trump deport. You heard that right, guys. Janet Correa, the famous Trump singing lady, has had her husband detained by ICE. And not only that, but he got put on expedited removal. They want him out of the U.S. They don't want him. But of course, we've been telling them this all along. They don't want you, bro. Also, do you remember the time I went viral because I told people to call ICE on Latinos for Trump and the family members of Latinos for Trump? It looks like it's happening, and I couldn't be happier. You reap what you sow, and I stand by what I say. But anyways, play silly games, get silly prizes. Let me know what you guys think.
What if you had to sue a company just to fix something that you already owned? Well, that just happened. John Deere has just agreed to a $99 million settlement because farmers had to sue them for the right to repair farm equipment that they bought with their own money. I'm going to say it again. They bought something with their own money, but they weren't allowed to fix it. That's like buying a house and a builder telling you you can only change light bulbs. For years, farmers have been locked out of their own tractors. And then some of them literally had to hack their own equipment just to get in it to fix it. And if a tractor is down, a farmer is just not inconvenienced. They're losing money. They're losing crops and losing time that they don't get back. So now John Deere has agreed to pay $99 million. Farmers get some money back, but they also get 10 years of digital tools to help them repair their own equipment. It's funny how companies suddenly become cooperative when their wallet is involved. And this is why I tell y'all consumers matter. Because when you start pushing back, companies stop acting like they still own something that you already paid for. So I got to ask, any farmers out there, did John Deere ever lock you out of your own equipment? Because this right here is a game changer.
So maybe this is another unpopular opinion, but I feel like you should have to live with the repercussions of your vote. And if you don't want to live with the repercussions of your vote, maybe you should actually vote a different way. But if you do vote that way, then you should have to live with that repercussion of your vote. And if it causes you to go bankrupt and for you to lose everything, then so be it. That is on you. So I hope going forward that you've learned from this and that you will vote a different way and vote for something that actually is for your best interest. Most likely you probably won't. I guess we'll see.
You are not going to believe this, and honestly, it's going to make you furious, as it did me. You know that $40 billion that Donald Trump sent to Argentina? It wasn't foreign aid. It wasn't a trade deal. It was a bailout for his billionaire buddies. This is corporate colonialism straight up. Follow the money. See, here's what's really happening. Most of Argentina's best farmland isn't owned by the Argentinians, friend. No, it's owned by, you guessed it, American corporations and investors. So when Argentina's economy tanked, the land's value also tanked. So these billionaire investors were about to lose billions. And suddenly, Trump swoops in like their personal banker, handing Argentina $40 billion in U.S. taxpayer money to prop up the peso and, by extension, to prop up the investments of his billionaire buddies. And then, to sweeten the deal, he opens the U.S. markets to Argentine beef. Except, guess what? That beef is being raised on American-owned farms down in Argentina. So now Trump's billionaire's friends make a fortune selling Americans imported beef that they grew on stolen land, more or less, while American farmers here are getting crushed by competition that we paid for. And if that's not corrupt enough, my friend, guess who's been buying up foreclosed farmland right here in the United States of America? J.D. Vance, that's right. So it really makes you wonder, is this about Argentina, or are they building an international food empire, one bailout, one farmland buyout at a time?
Have y'all seen the farmers speaking out, warning about what's to come? Like, I know all of our algorithms have people from China telling us how advanced they really are and how we really do suck, and we spend 10 times the amount of stuff that it costs them to make. But yeah, the farmers are speaking out. They are sounding the alarm bells. They are talking about our food and the food supply truckers are talking about loads that they are picking up that do not have the same weight that they're used to. They're having to drive farther and longer and pick up less, which means they get paid less. If you are not growing a garden, if you do not have seeds and some soil in a pot on your windowsill, please do that today. Tomatoes are easy to grow. Get you some tomatoes, some peppers. Microgreens are super easy. They come up really quickly. You need rice and beans. Even if you can't get anything else, get some rice, some beans, and some salt. Y'all, there are people that will starve. They are cutting off food assistance to elderly people. Meals on Wheels. I get it. I get that people are saying, oh, it's not going to be that bad, or we just need fair trade. This is not about that. This is about cleansing the population of undesirables. And that's what they're doing. That's the goal. The goal is to get rid of who they say are the weakest among us. And that means people that are elderly or people that are disabled, children. They're not interested in rehabilitation. It's literally like survival of the fittest. So I'm about to go do some stuff in my garden. Hopefully my oxygen absorbers come in today. I've got some rice and beans that I need to pack, but y'all, anything. I'll get you a couple of, bags of beans from the dollar store. Y'all, you can get a 20-pound bag of rice from your local grocery store for $12, $13. Get you that and some beans. And if that's all you have, that rice and beans is a complete protein. Please do something.
Does anybody care about Nebraska? That's the question that's going around TikTok right now, and to that, I respond with two questions. Did Nebraska care about anybody else? And does Nebraska care about Nebraska? Because, you see, God helps those who help themselves, and when you Nebraskans walked into the voting booth and overwhelmingly voted for Donald Trump to be president, and now you're feeling the effects of that, this isn't I told you so. This is an FAFO. And I know there are Nebraskans out there that voted for Kamala Harris and did not fall into the trap of Donald Trump. Unfortunately, there were not enough of you. And now the rumors, and I'm having a hard time substantiating some of this, but the vibe that's going around is that Nebraska basically looks to be bankrupt in about 6 months because of the undocumented migrants that are being deported, or just the fact that undocumented migrants make up a large portion of their state and workforce on the farms. And they're not showing up to work because they're now afraid they're going to be deported. So Nebraskans, especially farmers in Nebraska, did you think any further than the front of your face? Did you think any further, or were you just blinded by hate? And now people are coming out here asking, what about Nebraska? Do you guys care about Nebraska? No, I've already answered it, but the short answer is no. No, we don't. We don't care about Indiana, where I'm from. We don't care about Kentucky losing their bourbon up in Canada. We don't care about Jack Daniels in Tennessee. We don't care about the auto industry in Michigan. Are we all going to feel this? Yes, it's going to hurt. The disruptions in the food supply from Nebraskan farmers is going to hurt everybody. We are not immune, but we can't care. We can't care. We have no more sympathy to give. You guys had a chance. We spent our time telling you, talking to you, talking at you because you wouldn't listen. You decided to vote for Donald Trump, and here he is undoing your entire workforce. And when you lose your family farm of 150 years to a private company who's going to buy up all the land when you guys can't pay your bills, that's the state of America we're going to be in, because you decided to vote for hate over the rest of the country and your own good. You cut off your nose to spite your face. So Nebraska, we don't care. God helps those who help themselves, and you decided you didn't want help.
There are white people going viral right now for their regret over voting for Donald Trump. And I put that word into heavy quotation marks because I genuinely question if they even know what the word regret means. One woman in particular got on TikTok crying a whole theatrical production about how people are not greeting her with open arms, how they're being mean to her in her comment section. Lady, are you fucking for real? Somehow you are the victim, not the millions of people harmed by the very system that you voted to prop up not once, not twice, but 3 fucking times. Not the immigrants who lost their family members to deportation or concentration camps. Not the communities of color who have been terrorized by the very policies that you voted to enable. You're the victim because people were mean to you in your comment section. And this tells me everything I need to know about your regret. You're not sorry, you're uncomfortable, and you're confusing the two. You claim that you're doing the work, yet at the first sign that that work becomes difficult, you make videos crying to garner sympathy for yourself. So the emotional labor falls on everyone else again. And then to make it worse, there's a whole slew of people in her comment sections coddling her. Oh, you're such a good girl because you realize that you made a mistake by voting for him 3 times. It's so brave of you to speak up. Then, some of you have the fucking audacity to police how other people respond to this video. Specifically, the people that MAGA spent years targeting. People of color, the LGBTQ community, immigrants. You want them to welcome ex-MAGA with open arms. You want them to perform forgiveness for your comfort. The people that we should all have sympathy for are the ones who have been harmed, not the ones who do the harming and are now sad because everyone remembers. But here's the part that really gets me. Same crying video. She said she won't be voting in future elections. So instead of working to dismantle the oppressive system that you helped build, your solution is to throw your hands up and do nothing but cry online. That is not remorse. That is not doing the work. That's pandering for likes and comments to appease your praise kink. That's demanding forgiveness without actually earning it. Look, if people want to coddle ex-MAGA voters, that's your prerogative. Nobody can stop you for handing out participation trophies. But if you are an alleged regretful MAGA, do not expect anyone to forgive you. Do not expect a warm welcome. Do not expect marginalized communities to throw you a fucking parade. Do the fucking difficult work. Sit with your discomfort. Sit with the fact that people are rightfully angry at you. And sit with the fact that your regret doesn't undo any of the damage that you caused. The only way you will maybe, and that's a big if, be welcomed back into a society that is rightfully skeptical of you is if you spend the rest of your life proving that you are worth redemption. That means voting for progressive candidates who actually want to help people. That means showing up to protests. That means putting your fucking body on the line. That means doing the hard work, even when nobody is clapping for you. Otherwise, save your fucking tears and go cry about it in your journal.
My family's fought for 100 years. You don't want to be the one that can't keep it going, you know?
I am a Republican. I voted for this administration, but my patience is running thin.
We're here in the heart of the Mississippi Delta to talk with farmers about how the war with Iran is impacting them.
Oh, it's been awful.
The closure of the Strait of Hormuz is causing prices to skyrocket, things like diesel fuel and fertilizer.
We're buying a little bit at a time. Sometimes we know that we've only got 2 weeks of fuel. So what has happened to us is not just the impact of 1 year. We have lost customers forever. They will never come back because we're deemed an unreliable supplier.
I'm paying 60% more for diesel fuel than I would have been paying 45 days ago.
You got to have diesel for everything. You got diesel to disc, to plant, to harvest. So diesel steadily going up like this, man, it affects us bad.
You have no choice. You know, you've got to go ahead and buy it, no matter what the price is.
There's going to be a lot of people that go out of business at the end of the year, either because they have to, because they're tired of losing money.
Farmers have already been struggling, with rising costs and even tariffs making things even harder.
It's going to be the nail in the coffin for a number of farmers. It's just the straw that broke the camel's back.
A lot of the money that comes through the economy is just shuffled from the government back to, you know, the big corporations, and just kind of, your farmer's a middleman these days. Really are.
It just seemed like the farmers' margins were already slim, and they just keep getting slimmer and slimmer.
We can't control diesel. We can't control, wars. We can't control anything. All we can control is once we put that seed in the ground, That's all we are called to do, right? And the rest of it is up to the good Lord.
Now, I've supported Mr. Trump this entire way, was a big supporter of his, but I do not agree with this, and I'm not happy about this at all.
I did not vote for this administration. We're just hoping that the administration can right some of the wrongs that it's created for farmers with tariffs and mainly what this war has inflicted on us.
A lot of people that did vote for this administration say it'll come around, but my question sometimes is, will you be in business when it does?
If President Trump were standing here in this field right now, what would you say?
I'd ask him to stick a sock in his mouth and not say anything for a while.
Get these fuel prices down. Get them down.
There's an old African proverb that says, when elephants fight, it's the ants that get crushed. The ants are getting crushed.
War, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing.
Hey, Nebraska, do you need a tissue for your issues? Hey, Nebraska, save the drama for your mama. What happened, Nebraska? Did voting for Trump ruin your economy? Oh, that's weird. That's so weird. It's kind of like we told you so, right? Oh, I love this. I like to stick it in your face and rub it in. It's kind of like, when Trump was telling everybody he was going to come after the undocumented people in this country that were working hard and deport them, that they would kind of move to a state they felt safe in. And apparently, Nebraska wasn't one of them. They packed up their stuff and they headed on out to a state that would welcome them with open arms. So now you're going bankrupt. And as somebody that lives in a blue state,
So the news out of Nebraska just keeps getting worse every day. I got a lot of responses to my video yesterday about how all the farmers are going bankrupt and how Governor Pillen requested for a bailout for our state. Well, it ends up that they're not going to grant the bailout to help us. So after we all voted red and elected all these people, they're not going to do anything to help us. And I learned a lot yesterday from all the comments on my video. It seems like a lot of the blue states, especially California, are actually the ones subsidizing and keeping some of us red states alive that are falling by the wayside, which is weird because I've always heard bad things about California, but yeah, it turns out that they have an $80 billion surplus every year that they pay into the United States, and all of us welfare states like Nebraska actually benefit from California doing so well. And they're just a blue state. They're just solid blue, and they do better than all of the other states, especially Nebraska. So I'm starting to rethink everything I've been told in my life.
Well, all of us farmers have officially fucked around, and we have officially found the fuck out now, guys. I am on the verge of bankruptcy. I'm on the verge of fucking tears. Overnight, all of my fucking help fled. My help, out of fear for their safety, their lives, they fucking fled. And now I am left out here standing in my unharvested carrot field. It is January, and I'm in Kansas, and this is when carrot harvest goes in fucking Kansas. This field should be full of workers. But all my fucking workers left. And who the fuck do you think is to blame for that? Every single one of them left. Now I have to by myself try to fill that truck with a load of fucking carrots in one day, and I can't do that, guys. I have to get these fucking carrots to market by next week, where my contract is fucking terminated. This is $936,000 worth of carrots right here, and I can't fucking pick them by myself. If they're unharvested, I will get kicked out of that contract, and I will get sued by the fucking Planters Loves Carrots company for that fucking money. But I have nobody that'll come fucking pick my carrots. Fuck, we are so fucking cooked, farmers.
Anyway, thank you for watching Great Minds Black. Which advice do you give to these farmers who are running bankrupt and they are begging for help from the Trump administration? Tell me what you think down in the comments.
Thank you for watching Great Minds Blacks.